Hi everybody, welcome to this video about the crystalline DNA upgrades and the efforts that are being made to stop that ascension process. We are looking at how there's been a lot of prophecy around that humanity is going into a state of higher awareness, that Earth herself is upgrading the vibration and the frequencies on the planet. We can also say that there are alien support groups that are helping us to upgrade our DNA. It happens in dreams, it happens in feelings, it happens in becoming more aware of something, it happens in an increased sensitivity. That now we are more sensitive in general. Your nervous system is more sensitive than what it has been before. So a year ago, things that would affect you a little bit, this year, it's affecting you a lot more. And if we're looking at the upgrades that are happening, we're also gaining more access to our intuitive knowing, to these abilities of feeling more present in our lives, or seeing different sort of connections that we couldn't see before. And it's very important that we start to listen to it, right? It's imperative, both from the perspective of Earth Mother, because we are in many ways polluting in such horrible ways. We're polluting our planet, but also from the perspective of humanity itself. That as we start to understand that our vibration is getting higher, it becomes easier to see that some of the solutions that are happening, war, bombs, killings, that those are not any kind of high vibration solutions, right? That it's easy to see when you and I sit in a spiritually centered space. It's so easy to see that, holy moly, how can we act this way? And then we start to look at the upgrades of the crystalline DNA in our system. We start to see that there are those sensitivities I just mentioned, they're coming in, and you may not know what's going on. You may feel either discombobulated, disoriented. There are quite a few people who are hearing entities coming in, because as we're going through these upgrades, we're getting more sensitive. We are also discovering more darker forces that are attempting to attack. They're like parasites in our world, and they're trying to attack people to suck life force energy from them. And as we're becoming aware of it, we're now able to learn how to stop those attacks from happening. But it is a journey, right? We are in the middle of a journey where we're learning about these things, and the crystalline upgrades of our DNA is happening. This means that as we are gaining access to higher levels of knowing, higher abilities, the drawback is that the powers to be are also aware of this. So when we had the lockdowns about 4 years ago, it's coming up on exactly 4 years ago when we locked down the world, right? They were presenting a very terrible situation that, according to the narrative, the public narrative, the official narrative, was horribly dangerous for everyone. And then about 6 months later, a year later, they were presenting a solution to this horrible problem. And the solution was to be inoculated, to take the medicine they presented. And this medicine, if we look at how it's the first time that we used the technology that had an ability to go in and change our DNA. So if we think about our DNA being upgraded, going into a higher state of vibration, and the dark forces that want us not to be in these higher states, because in the higher states we question the narrative. In the higher states we think for ourselves. We are not so easily controlled. Well, for the powers to be, they would like that not to happen. So what better way than to inoculate the whole world's population with a medicine that goes in and affects our DNA on a deep, deep level. as deep as we can affect our system in the physical realm. Isn't that pretty interesting? I also find it interesting that before they presented this new technology and this new inoculation, there was no throwing everything we had at this new illness coming up. There was no movement of, let's take all the vitamins you can. Let's take this medicine and see if that works. Let's take that medicine and see if that works. Let's try everything we have already. Let's try original, the way they were using this medicine to other pandemics we had before. They did not even seem to discuss that. They seem to have gone almost straight into this new technology with the mRNA medicine. And as from that perspective, it looks a little suspect, at least from my perspective. It looks very suspect, and it looks like they wanted to push this new technology in. And in order to do that, they had to present a problem. The problem was the illness. The solution was to get the medicine from the public narrative. This medicine affected our DNA. It affected how we feel, our physical health. And from that level, when we're feeling bad, when we're feeling weaker, when we're feeling like we're not as strong in our system, it's much harder to question the narrative. It's much harder to go in and be strong in yourself, because now we're feeling weak, we're feeling ill, we're feeling like everything is getting to us. And a lot of people are having heart problems, a lot of people are having lung issues, a lot of people are having digestive issues that seem to come after the worldwide inoculation. So from that perspective, it seems like there are powers that are very interested in keeping our frequency and vibration in a lower state. It goes for how the news are speaking to us as well, right? The news are bombarding us with negativity. The inoculations happen across our globe, also affecting us. And then we have the input of 5G, which is the new technology coming in, which is in the energy field. We can't see it, it's Wi-Fi. But I can hear it. And I know when I'm outside of range because it goes quiet. It gets quiet. And then I come back into range and I can hear that buzzing sound again. And all of that is, of course, causing stress on our system. The 5G is causing a lot of stress on our system. If you go in and look up dangers of Wi-Fi or 5G, you will see that the European Union, on their official website, it talks about that 5G can be dangerous for organic or biologic organisms because it goes deeper than the skin, right? It can penetrate into our system. So of course that's affecting our energy field as well. Now, together, you put that picture together, you see that we're being affected by 5G in the energy field, you see that we're being physically affected by the inoculations all across our world, and you see that mentally we're being bombarded with negative news. We can kind of see that if we are in the public narrative, there's probably about 90% or maybe 80% of all the people who are in that narrative. If you're in that state, you're going to be feeling terrible about the world. It's going to look like we're going through some very, very difficult times. But if you're able to disconnect from that, if you're able to find your inner truth, you're able to find your inner strength, listen to your intuition, use your what's called discernment, your inner judge, your inner moral compass for what's true for you, suddenly life doesn't look as horrible. Things don't look as bad. And especially when we can disconnect. The easiest thing to disconnect from is, of course, the news. The second part to disconnect is to start unplugging your Wi-Fi overnight. Turn off your phone overnight. And the third one is, of course, stay as healthy as you can physically. Eat the vitamins. Stay in the sun. Go outside and soak up the sun. Stay in nature. Stay with the trees. Feel what nature can teach us, teach you. How we can grow from that. This is how we foster an inner strength, an inner power that over time helps to align our chakra system, helps to align our higher level of intelligence, our higher sense of intelligence, so that you use your discernment for what you believe in is healthy and not healthy for yourself. And in this sense, we are supporting, when the DNA changes are coming in, these positive ones, the crystallization of your DNA, when that's coming in, we're more ready for it. Because it does take kind of a stronger physicality, a stronger energetic presence, awareness, to be able to handle these upgrades. If you have a broken car and you put in a stronger engine, the car will be breaking down. But if you have a good, healthy car and you put in a stronger engine, it'll run better. So that's the same thing for us. If we are, the healthier we can be, the stronger we can be in our presence, in our awareness, the easier it is to allow these upgrades to happen. And now we have access to way more information, way more knowing than we did before. It is a beautiful walk when we can see through the official public narrative and we come into our inner stillness and discernment. Then we become agents of good and change and evolution in our world. Yes? All right. Thank you for being a part of this today. I hope you're doing wonderful. Have a beautiful, lovely week. And we will talk again soon. Namaste and aho.